Well, the time is just gone 9:15 a.m. on News and Views this morning. And being a long weekend, we know the major routes right across the country are going to be very, very busy. People taking advantage of the long weekend, and it is also school holidays. And last week, we were actually very saddened to hear of three accidents that had taken place, but one family that was affected in three separate incidents. Sadly, there were fatalities as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant the family sabr as well, and also, for the loss of their loved ones as well. And this obviously is something that we need to talk about and remind ourselves time and again about these deadly road trips. And sometimes it is as a result of simple things or the most common mistakes drivers actually make on long distance journeys. And this is the reason why we joined this morning by Ashref Ismail, who is the founder and chief facilitator for FleetMax DriiveSMART. Ashref, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome.
And Juma Mubarak, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you too, brother Inayat. It's always a pleasure to chat to you. It's been a long, long time, and it's great to be interacting with the listeners as well. And the viewers,
Well,
of course.
we obviously interact with you from time to time, and especially at critical times like these during the holiday seasons, during long weekends as well. And Ashraf, you come with so much experience in terms of providing some sort of guidance, advice as well. And again, we're talking about road trips. We talk about deadly road trips. And once again, it's a long weekend. We know what the situation is going to be on the road this morning or this entire weekend.
Absolutely. So, historically, Brother Inayat, you'll remember from my days in Road Traffic Management Corporation as the project leader for Arrive Alive as well. Every year, and I miss this period, I really do, because in South Africa, it's historically known that the Easter 5 day period is a concentrated 5 day, very hectic period for traffic authorities around the country. The amount of traffic that is actually on the roads over this 5 day period is far more than even during the what we have the December festive season. Of course, during these 5 day period, we've got holiday makers that want to go to the coast. There are people from the coast who want to run away from there because everybody from Gauteng has descended upon their provinces. We've got migrant workers who are going back home to Lesotho, going back to Zimbabwe, to the neighboring states, and general traffic patterns all over are hectic. And everybody wants to reach their destinations within this concentrated 5 day period. The most hectic period would have been from yesterday afternoon. A lot of people get time off from work to start traveling from last night. Historically, I know we've been doing that Moria ZCC traffic. You'll know for 19 years I covered that area. And that traffic starts commencing from Thursday, roundabout. No, not Thursday. Yeah, correct. Thursday. From Thursday, meaning yesterday, from after lunch, right through it would have carried on till about 2, 3 in the morning. The buses, as we speak, would have been coming from various provinces, all 9 provinces plus neighboring states. More than over 2,500 buses would converge on the N1. Now, you must remember the N1, Brother United, is a stretch that actually goes from Cape Town all the way up to Messina. So all the provinces then eventually sort of have this vehicles, all the buses carrying passenger transport, shuttle buses, mini buses, vehicles, all heading in that direction, all flowing into this main artery being the N1. So the amount of pressure that has been exerted on that particular stretch of road, together with all the secondary roads, is immense. It's immense. It's all going up. And then from Sunday afternoon again, all that pilgrimage, all the pilgrims will be getting back onto the major arterial routes coming back as well. So clearly, as a road user, if you have to, I always say, Easter, if you can help it, just don't go anywhere. And if you really have to, then be extra cautious, especially along what we call the major arterial routes, being the N1, the entire flow from Durban to from Cape Town to Messina, both north and southbound. And don't forget the other corridors being the N3 from Johannesburg going down to Durban and vice versa. And then, of course, the N4 going from Pretoria eastbound towards Nelspruit in Bombela and, of course, back again.
Ashraf, let's just talk about driver behavior and the most common mistakes that drivers make. What are those?
So, brother Inayat, you'll know that all fatalities, right? And I hope this I'm proven wrong on this. But over the Easter weekend, again, you can, if you look at the historical data, you can already assume that over 1,000 people would have been killed over the next 5 days. We're a country at war with ourselves. That brings us to an average of between 40 to 45 per day. Of course, over Easter, that's going to be multiplied by exponentially, let's put it that way. But the major causes, of course, we all know the biggest contributory factor to any fatal crash, or for that matter, any crash, I always say any crash, is the human factor. 85% of a person, 85% of human error leads to the crashes that we see. And of course, this becomes a huge problem. And like you said, coming specifically to your question, then excessive speeding. When you say speed kills, people get very annoyed, they become academic, and they go into all kinds of debates and arguments. I'm saying speed in, or let's say inappropriate speed for conditions, is a killer. So even if the maximum speed, for argument's sake, in a built up area is 60 kilometers per hour, but if it's raining and there's a school premises on that route, and it's after school, the school is just been, the bell is rung and the schools are coming out. If you're doing 59 kilometers per hour in that vicinity, even though you are technically legally within your rights to do so, it's unwise, because the circumstances, the conditions are not appropriate to be traveling at 59. You need to drop your speed accordingly. As South Africans, we are almost always in a hurry. We need to break this record. We'll boast at the braais and everything that we did Johannesburg to Cape Town or Johannesburg to Durban in 5.5 hours. We did it in 5 hours. We did it. What's the point? Exactly, what's the point? I mean, the amount of trucks that we have, heavy vehicles, especially on the N3. If you have driven the N3, you should know also between Pietermaritzburg and Durban, there's major construction taking place. There's a section of the road that has been increased from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. It's mashallah, very, very nice. But again, be extra careful about the heavy vehicles that are traveling along those routes, because heavy vehicle drivers, again, you must also remember the other danger in South Africa we have, brother Inayat, that it is an accepted fact that more than 40% of the people who obtained their licenses in South Africa obtained it irregularly. So you are driving with these people, some of whom are driving heavy motor vehicles, who are not actually qualified to drive that vehicle. So if you're going to aid the lethal combination of excessive speeding, reckless and negligent driving, and then people who are incompetent to be driving that class of vehicle, it is indeed a recipe for disaster.
Well, certainly. And also, I think the other point that one needs to take account is, you know, not caring about other road users. And I think this is absolutely important, and we see this mainly sadly in the taxi, in the minibus industry as well, in terms of breaking the law, creating your own lanes, all those type of things as well. So that is also another factor that one needs to take into account.
Brother Inayat, look, I come from this background. I've practiced in this particular profession as well, and I can definitely say the evidence of violation of road traffic rules is as a result of lack of enforcement. We need to be very clear. Enforcement in South Africa is either inadequate, it is incompetent, it's inept, it's corrupt. We know those as a fact. And because of that, you must remember, we as a society, we come from a background where voluntary compliance is not part of our culture. We don't. Wherever we can get away with it, doesn't matter what color, size, or shape you are, if we can get away with anything, we are going to do that, right? We can talk on a cell phone while driving. Only time we put it down when we see a blue light in front or behind us or something like that. And clearly, it speaks to the fact that, we are not a law abiding society. Besides not being a law abiding, the taxi section you spoke about, the taxi sector, that particular sector, we know just how bad it is. We need law enforcement to be decisive. It needs to be vigorous. People must lose their licenses. We've been hearing about this issue of the ARTO demerit system coming in. The moment you reach the threshold of 15 points, they're going to suspend your license. There has been it's been under discussion since 1998. It's going to be more than 25 years that this project has been in a pilot phase. Where in the world did you see a project phase that has a pilot phase for over 25 years? Scrap it or replace it or implement it. Let's go for it. But somehow the other, our government is just, when it comes to the taxi industry, if you want to see the biggest failing of our country, our government in South Africa, you just need to see the taxi industry and the lawlessness. What you're talking about, we see it on social media constantly, where you'll see over this weekend, there are two lanes of traffic, all of them bumper to bumper, all approaching a toll gate, and see what these guys do. They literally drive in the face of oncoming traffic in the other lanes going through the toll gate. Then you ask yourself, where are the traffic officers? And believe it or not, the traffic officers are on duty, but they don't have the appetite to deal with these people and deal with them decisively. You're talking about a minibus sector. There's another two sectors we should also be extra careful about. The ones that we call the 60/60, the checkers 60/60. We call them because they're so ubiquitous. You see them all over the show. But it includes all the scooter delivery riders, right? They are in your blind spots all the time. You don't see them in urban areas, especially. They just emerge from the left and overtake on the right, and they're all over the show. All these delivery post COVID, everybody wants their stuff. They want it now. It's a convenience that we are chasing after all the time. So you'll see unroadworthy motorbikers. You'll see bikers that are sometimes not wearing the correct gear to keep them safe and doing reckless things, going through red lights, just like their counterparts in the minibus taxi fraternity. And then, of course, especially in Mpumalanga, in the northern parts of KZN, and of course, parts of the N3 also, there's the what you call the tipper truckers. Oh, that is a very frightening specter, because here you're talking about juggernauts who are driving juggernauts being driven by drivers who have not obtained their licenses regularly. They come from provinces where they probably went for a license in a very rural town, and now they're driving on the major arterial routes a vehicle that weighs over 50, 60 tons together with a load, etc. And they're basically dicing with you. And those are killers. I always say, stay away from truck drivers. Don't be close to one of them. Don't be in front of them. Don't be behind them. Don't tailgate them. And definitely don't cut in front of them, because a truck driver cannot bring that thing to a halt like a vehicle, a normal car driver can, simply because of the load. He needs extra distance to bring the vehicle to a halt.
Well, Ashref, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, and also for taking time out on this beautiful day of Jummah once again with us right here on Salam Media. All the best to you, my brother, and keep up the good work. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah so much. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Founder and chief facilitator at FleetMax DriiveSMART, Ashref Ismail, this morning, just providing us with some advice as we hit the roads over the weekend, or if we have already hit the road as well. But whatever it is, some wonderful tips that one can actually take from these most common mistakes that we as motorists and drivers actually make. And with it, we're going to go for a break. We come back, a live in studio interview with Zainul Abidin Kaji coming up.